Warning, this podcast contains spoilers. What's up, everyone, and welcome to the SC on TV podcast for the Big Brother 16 finale. Sad days, sad days. I'm your host, Dom. With me, I have my co-hosts, Erika.
I came, I saw, I conquered. Or should I say I saw, I conquered, I came.
Yes. And Luke.
That was on the radio.
Welcome to the season 16 finale of Big Brother by a vote of 7-2. Congratulations, Derek.
Luke, you have been evicted from the Big Brother house.
Right.
Well, that was all part of it.
Yeah.
Due to the audience vote, Luke will not be on season 17 of the ASOTV
Yeah,
podcast.
that's a new thing. I'm auditioning for season 17, and so is Dom.
Yeah, I've auditioned every year recently but one.
Well, now you can tell Allison that you're on a Big Brother podcast.
This is true.
And we're all on the Big Brother podcast, so we could have a chance maybe at this.
Maybe. If it works that way.
Third time's a charm, maybe.
I don't know. I mean, we're no Frankie, right?
The more
What?
they know you, the more likely they are to put you on the short list.
Right. I mean, we're no Frankie, right? So we're not huge YouTube celebrities, right?
No.
I mean, I don't have people coming off the streets being like, "Oh, you're that guy."
No, we're more Chef Arvin style of YouTuber.
Yeah. I don't know who that is, so that's why I'm agreeing.
He's a Big Brother house guest that had a YouTube show that was cooking. He was a chef. Well, he poisoned the house guests every week because he couldn't cook.
Oh, perfect.
Food poisoning every week until he was evicted. And then the house guests got miraculously better somehow.
Wow.
I will do that. That is my strategy: get everyone sick and win the show. Perfect. I think, I don't know, like, I know we've joked and different things about how we would approach Big Brother, but if I did get on, I think I would just be my own Big Brother saboteur. With no instruction. Just do it. Very secretly and very cautiously.
I would probably be the first one evicted.
Who would be?
I would probably be the first one evicted.
Why do you say that?
Why?
Because people hate me.
No.
Who hates you?
You're not Frankie.
No, Frankie was liked by people. I'm more like that house guest that everybody hates the first week, and nobody really gets to know, and so it just kind of runs away. Like, well, we need to evict somebody.
So
Nobody likes them. Just send them.
Alex.
Yeah,
Alex?
pretty much.
So, all right.
Or
so
like Gemma on Australia, who, everybody didn't really understand, and so she got kicked out first. Oh well.
Yeah, that tends to happen. All right. So Friday we had the special episode, and it was basically kind of I forgot that they do this every year. It was the sit down at the dinner table, and they very awkwardly recap the rest of the season because they're forced to do it.
Right.
They sit down. Oh, do you remember when this happened? And it just feels extremely forced. But it was still interesting. It was interesting to watch, and we decided at the last minute not to do a podcast about it because there just wasn't a whole lot to talk about. I think we'll probably stay on this topic for about 5 minutes or so, if even that. But I thought it was interesting to see some of the stuff that we still, were absent from the live feeds. One of my most memorable points of the recap was when Donnie was talking to himself, saying that he wasn't going crazy, and then he goes, "Well, I guess I am sitting here talking to myself." I thought that was kind of cool to see. Did you guys have a favorite moment from the recap?
To be honest, I didn't even watch it.
In all honesty, my favorite moments were, okay. As much as I was jealous of them, I have to say Zanky, because two guys hugging and cuddling, sexy as hell.
I disagree.
And at least
one
and a half of them are gay.
What?
Said, and at least 1.5 of them are gay.
Well, yeah, that's true, but I don't know. Frankie's cute,
I'm really curious to see if Zach and Frankie are going to remain close afterwards.
So am I. I mean, well, even though Zach lives in Florida, Frankie lives in New York, but sometimes people manage. Look at McCranda.
Yeah.
That lasted all 3 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think but McCrae did make that big move to Florida when they were still together, so that made sense.
Yeah.
Yep. I think one of the other cool moments was the dog that they let in the house. I don't remember the name of the dog now. But I didn't even know there was a dog in the house for like a day or a couple hours or whatever it was.
And no, there was a rescue dog. Do you remember the dog's name?
No.
Neither do I. It's like odd.
But then it was funny because I sadly vote to evict whatever the dog's name was, and it was funny, a little funny moment.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of cute.
Yeah. And then outside of that, we saw the very beginning of the hang gliding competition. So yeah, it was kind of an endurance, and then we went in kind of. I mean, I guess they didn't go right into it, but we got to see when they came back for the finale last night. We got to see the jury like sit there and discuss with Dr. Will.
Big Brother 2 winner, Big Brother 2 winner.
Yep.
That made, to somebody like me who's watched every season of Big Brother, that really stood out in my mind because every year they have the jury deliberating. Right. But yet this year was the first year they actually had to bring someone in from the outside to moderate the jury and to lead them on the wrong path.
Second year in a row, Erika.
Yeah, I thought they did it last year too. I don't know if was it Dr. Will last year or was it Jeff?
No, Dr. Will.
Okay.
But that just really stood out to me. It's like they not competent enough to do their own, because these people are not really all there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think production would have got what they wanted to get out of the sit down had Dr. Will not been there. It would have just been a tirade of whoever they managed to start talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, I do like the format. I do like it a lot better than previous years. It's because it felt very forced. It was like the recap we were just talking about, where they sit down and they're kind of forced to recap the whole episode. And this way, it didn't feel nearly as forced. Like it's still like Dr. Will had some preset questions he was asking, but it seemed more of a conversation back and forth than a forced conversation. So that was really interesting. And then they decided what questions they were going to ask. I actually, before they did that, I liked what everybody started saying about Victoria.
Yeah, when they were talking about Victoria, I knew they would do that.
Yeah, it was just like
if Victoria was to make it to the finals, she had a very good shot of winning.
Yeah, she did.
Because she, regardless of whether the people believe that she was a floater or whatever, she made it to the finals, never winning any competitions and being on the block 9 times.
Yeah,
that is a big game move.
What was it? Derek said, or Julie Chen said at the beginning of the episode that Derek strategized his way to the top 3. Cody flirted his way, and Victoria floated her way. And everybody, you heard in the audience, everybody was laughing at the floated part.
Yeah.
So.
And if you noticed it, if you caught a brief glimpse before some of the commercials, in the audience there were special appearances by Jeff and Jordan, Rachel, and Ariana Grande.
Yes. I'm actually surprised that they didn't focus on Ariana a little bit more. I thought that was going to kind of be their selling point,
when Frankie came out, when he was called out to welcome back into the jury, when they were welcoming the jury members back, I could see Frankie waving to his sister.
Yeah, and now that I think about it too, I'm even more surprised that they didn't have Ariana perform in the house for, like they did with the country dude.
Yeah, instead, like when Jeff proposed to Jordan, why didn't they just have a little surprising moment for Frankie? Bring Ariana Grande into the house to perform a song.
Yeah. Yep. So, but yeah, then they sat down. They were discussing and their questions and how they were going back and forth. It was really interesting. Like Erika said, with Dr. Will, made it a lot better to watch. But then when they got to the live questions, right? I think the one that surprised me the most was Victoria's on-the-fly question. It was a really, really good question.
Yeah, I like Victoria a lot more than she got credit for. I mean,
Yeah.
So did
she
I.
wasn't like she was an original player. She didn't go in with a time-tested strategy that's been played out, 5 or 6 seasons already.
Right.
She just
Right.
she just happened to ally with the one guy that ran the entire house, and he remained loyal to her.
Right.
Yeah.
He did. In all honesty, but you know what? She couldn't make it to the final two because Cody stuck by his word and kept the final two deal with Derek, which in the end cost him the $500,000.
Yeah.
This is the
Yeah.
first season. I just wanted to throw in there that this was the first season since I've been watching the show, and I've been.
What?
His mic cut out? Internet?
Okay, it wasn't just me then.
No.
His video's still going.
Yeah. There. It froze.
Okay.
That's a lovely frame to freeze on. Hi, Luke.
Oh, there it goes. No, but getting it at what he was going at.
Mm-hmm.
They actually did like an interview session afterwards when they had the party in the backyard.
Right.
I'm trying to find what his exact words were.
I'm still here. Sorry.
Welcome back.
Okay, but
Thank you. Now,
yeah, getting what his words were was they asked Cody why did he take Derek when that was an obvious losing decision. He's like, thinking about taking anyone other than Derek would have been betrayal I couldn't live with.
Yeah. No, I agree.
So-
Like, he could have very easily picked Victoria, and he could have very easily won. No, well, I can't even say very easily, because I actually think Victoria would have won.
It says a lot about Cody's character as a person.
Mm-hmm.
That he put that trust and loyalty ahead of $450,000
Right.
because he was
Well,
getting the 50 already.
If the shoe was on the
So-
other foot, do you think Derek would have picked Victoria over Cody, or do you think Derek would have stuck true and took Cody to the end?
50-50. I mean,
See,
I think
I 100%
he would have been
think he would have taken Derek. Not a
I
doubt
think-
in my mind. I mean, Cody.
Derek taking Cody.
Yeah.
I think he probably would have, but it's more of, he's loyal to both people.
He is.
So that's why he was trying to he was trying to win that first competition
Mm-hmm.
because he didn't want to be the one to go against Victoria.
Right.
He wanted Cody to do it.
Right.
He's Derek is loyal to the people he was loyal to, and he never dropped it, even when it meant one against the other.
Yeah.
He really never dropped it. So
He was loyal to the person that he made the initial agreement with, which was Cody. And that's why I say,
Yeah.
because if that was his game from the start and everything else was his facade that he was putting up and just furthered it along to get to where his mission was, which was him and Cody, that it would have, if he turned on Cody and he put Victoria up in Cody's place, that would have looked bad for him in the voting. And Victoria, I think, would have ended up winning over him.
Probably.
Because if they, if his strategy was to do this, do that, and then he just decides, I'm not loyal to anyone but myself, that's pulling a Frankie. And
Yeah.
that's why Frankie got so much hate. It has nothing to do with
Frankie
anything
got burned
but that.
for it. Yeah.
So just looking at that, if he chose Victoria, I think he would have lost if that was Derek. And same kind of goes for Cody. I think the reason that Cody didn't win, because he was pretty much in this as much as Derek. Yeah, Derek was kind of the puppet master, but Cody brought up a lot of good points of how he was the social side of Derek, and he got all this information and brought it to Derek, and the two of them together kind of made all these decisions.
Right.
It's very true on that. So if Cody, who a lot of people were already kind of giving him some flack for the Christine flirting thing, right? I think that hurt his game quite a bit too.
Yeah, and that was a big no-no.
So
Well, he didn't really flirt too much with her, though. That's the thing.
She
No,
was
I know.
flirting. No. She was flirting.
She was flirting with him.
yeah, but he didn't do very much to try to stop it. So
Right.
it's pretty much he wasn't the instigator, but he was pretty much just as much at fault in my eyes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Another thing was, before my internet crashed, I said, this is the first time since I've been watching the show that when Julie Chen says to the last HOH, she says, "You must stand now and cast the sole vote to evict." But remember, this could cost you $500,000, and for once, it did cost the outgoing HOH $500,000.
She said that. I don't know about every year, but most of the years
Not
I
every,
remember.
but some years. Well, I've been watching Big Brother since season 13, so that's why I'm saying that.
Yeah. Most of the years she has said this could be a 500 million mistake or, decision
Yeah.
or, some variation of.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah, I think the way it went down was pretty much the only way it went down, and this is the way I foresaw it. Like, going when they hit the final five, this is how I saw it going down. I think every week we said, okay, this person's going home, this person's going home, this person's gonna make. It was whether or not the real decision was whether or not Cody was gonna win over Derek, and I don't think it really came much as a surprise that Cody won over Derek because Cody is much more of a physical competitor than Derek is.
Right.
So.
Derek was a strategic competitor.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the final thing did come down to a test. So the first competition, which we haven't really talked about the competitions, but the first competition was the endurance, the hang glider, where they're sitting there going. Victoria was the first one down. As much as we've said that those contests kind of favor women or whatever, it was a little different this year because they put a lot of the weight into their hands and positioning the freezing cold rain. You saw their hands were turning blue, and just a combination of all that, Victoria just couldn't hold on anymore, so she went down. And it was down to Derek and Cody. At that point, they already had a plan. We saw it in place. They showed it. But at that point, we know that even if they didn't have a plan, Cody would have been the one that pulled through. Cody's just the physical competitor. That's how it is. And I got a cat. Yep. This just jumped into my face. Random tail. So I don't think
random tail.
Random tail. So I don't think it was. Here, go play with that. Get down. The second competition I thought was kind of cool too. Like, we've seen similar stuff to this all the time. Like, what was it, Big Brother 8? They did it underwater, and there was like all kind. You got to match up who was the. This year was a lot more intense, I thought, because as we said, Derek has never been on the block, first and foremost. But I think his record, I don't think it's ever going to be broken, because there were 4 people on the block for the first half of the season every week. So out of all the chances and possibilities he could have gone on a normal show that doesn't do the 2, because I don't think that's going to be a regular thing. I don't think we're going to see that next year. And if that's the case, that's almost double the number of times people are on the block. There's no way anybody's going to beat that record. Derek holds that forever, in my opinion.
That's what I think too. The same thing happened on Big Brother Canada too. Jillian, the winner of season 1 of Big Brother Canada, Jillian McLaughlin, she was never on the block, and she pulled through and won Big Brother Canada.
Yeah. So the competition itself, where you had to match up who was on the block or whatever, would have been even more interesting if there was a subsection up at the top to do all the Battle of the Block people that were originally on it as well. That would have been really interesting and even more difficult. There was no way Derek would have a 15-minute time on that. And then
he would have lost.
And no, I don't think so. Victoria, I don't think would have come up with all those. It took her 30 minutes to do it, and she was the person that was on the block the most. So even Derek himself said, if anybody knows this competition, it should be Victoria.
Exactly.
So.
No, you're right. Absolutely. I mean, she was on the block 9 times. I mean, that sets a record in history right now.
Yeah, that's half the amount of time. How many weeks did they have to put
13.
up on that thing?
What did you say, Erika?
There was 13 weeks.
Yeah.
13 weeks. Oh, okay.
So there's 13 weeks of people. She's there over half. Right? Yeah. So it would six and a half time, is halfway. So she was well over the halfway mark. So she's on almost every single one of these things. So
right.
But I would like to see it where you have to use all of them. Like, I'd like to have them see like which week Zingbot was in the house, and like little things like that I think would be cool, but it would probably extend the competition a lot longer than it needed to be. So I don't know on that one. But the final competition was super close.
Yeah.
Like
It
the
was.
jurors, the scale, like they've done that a few seasons now where they ask questions.
No,
That's
this was
been
the second season doing the scale.
second. Okay, I thought
Well,
I knew it was either second or third.
he's
Second.
talking about the jury members answer questions. You got to match them. They've done that for several seasons.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, but instead of the on season 14 was the last time they did it in the living room. Season
Yeah.
14.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've done it most of the time. It's in the living room or something like that, just beside each other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So this is the first time it's actually been like a
I thought last year they
big
did it on the
production.
scale too.
I don't
Last year
remember.
they did. Yeah, it was Gina Marie and Andy that were
Yeah.
on the scale last year.
Yep.
I think I've forgotten or blocked most of last year
I don't blame you.
because most of what I last year was known for everybody being fired,
Yeah, pretty much.
and
Yeah,
then
a lot of people lost their
most
jobs.
of what I remember, and when I think back to last year, it was actually like 2 years ago, back when Dan was in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
Yeah,
what
a
I
lot of people
remember
have been
most.
skipping over last year, but
Yeah.
yeah.
See, the season 14 cast was good, but season 15 there was a lot of controversy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we were
Almost got the
talking
show
last
canceled.
podcast about Ian. So Ian was 2 seasons ago.
Yeah.
What would you guys think of the reveal of Team America?
Everybody was in total shock when they saw the video clips of what was happening, and when Zach saw his clip, my gator shirt, and then he's like, "What?"
Right.
I think it was just a complete shock to all of them who were unaware of Team America. And Nicole was so close to guessing who it was. She guessed it was Donnie, Frankie, and
Zach.
Zach, yeah. And then it was it was Derek, Frankie, and Donnie.
And what's
Yep.
best is Derek's closest ally and best friend in the house had no idea.
Yeah,
Completely
exactly.
took Cody by surprise. Like, wait a minute, you did this?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
You were keeping secrets from me?
Yeah, and then when he stood up, he was shaking his head but smiling.
Right.
Yeah.
And I like when they showed some of the missions that they had to do. The mouse one was, that was still really funny the second time around.
Right.
The hiding the clothes and everything, just seeing the look on Zach's face,
That was priceless.
that was
Yeah.
worth it alone. And then Zach again for when they had to convince somebody was a relative of a former house guest. And then when Julie asked Zach, why did you say that you were Amanda Zuckerman's cousin when you weren't?
Yeah.
I'm
and
bored.
What's his response?
I was bored.
He's like, I
was
was
bored. Oh,
bored.
that-
I wanted something to do.
And
gave
he
me a little
wanted
bit of fun in the
attention,
house.
basically.
Yeah.
Yep.
Although they look like they could be related, I'm not gonna lie.
They do. So, but then I think the response to Derek being a cop was the absolute best thing of the season, even better than Jocasta dumping the trash can all over the floor.
Yeah,
That was a good reveal.
that was
And
awesome.
that was the first time I've ever actually seen Julie reveal someone's audition tape
Right.
to verify their strategy.
Right.
Like they had to confirm to the house guest, this is what he planned the entire time. This was his master strategy. He did not make this up on the fly. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually glad that they did not show that before the voting took place, because that would seem extremely biased, because Cody didn't have anything like that in play
Right.
beforehand, and
and it was
yeah.
it was too late because they already cast their votes.
Right, that's why I'm glad that they did it that way.
Yeah. So
Yeah, 'cause
that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
It really just kind of, cemented his gameplay right then. It was like he had this plan going in
Yeah.
and he executed it perfectly,
Yeah, I'm glad that he was originally thinking about telling them that he was a police officer, but he was going to keep the fact that he was an undercover cop secret. That was what he said in his audition tape, and I'm glad that he didn't even say he was a cop, because that's just super suspicious. I don't think he would have made it nearly as far if that was the case.
Right.
I think people would have saw him as more of a threat that way. So, but if Derek not if he was, Derek being an undercover cop beforehand, he must have been damn good at it because he had this entire house fooled. Unfortunately, now for him, being an undercover cop is not going to work very well when all of America knows that you're an undercover cop.
Exactly. Now he's gonna. That just did that. Do you think that could ruin his position?
Oh, 100%. He's going to go back to a desk job if that's the case.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean,
'cause
if he goes,
I mean,
I mean, I'm sure he'll go back to work, but because he has, contracts and whatever, so he can go back to work and make a living. But he doesn't have to do the beat cop, the undercover detective stuff. He can do like desk work or sergeant or whatever.
yeah, arrest people still.
Well, I mean, he can be in the precinct, in the building, taking care of that stuff, like leadership stuff, and not out there actually in the line of fire, so to speak.
Right.
Yep. I mean, he could still have like a patrol job or something like that, but he's not going to be able to be an undercover police officer anymore.
Right.
That's not going to be an option for him. So.
Hey, man, aren't you a cop? Dude, I just won $575,000 on TV. Do you really think I went back to work?
You know what? He could probably still pull it off, actually. Now that you just said that. That would totally be something that Derek could do.
He would. He would. I could see Derek saying something like that. I really could. And Cody won the $50,000.
Yep. So
Yeah.
Derek won $575,000. Cody was at $50,000. Donnie won America's Favorite. He got what, 40,000, or did he get more from America's Favorite?
80,000.
He got 25,000 for America's Favorite.
Okay.
Now those numbers there,
Yeah, and he got
I think
20,000.
are a little bit low.
Or he got 15,000 from being America's
How many
Team
How many
America.
missions did they actually complete? Does anybody remember?
It was somewhere around 4, I think.
Okay, because the number, they said Frankie got 20,000,
Yep.
but I thought they had 5 missions. They might have just had 4 though.
They had a few missions. They failed 2 of them.
Yeah.
And then there was some missions that went on after Donnie left. So Donnie only got 15,000.
Yeah.
Frankie got the 20,000. And then didn't they complete another mission without Frankie? Or did they fail that one? I know there was another mission after Frankie left, and that was before the final mission. So final, I think they failed that one, and the final mission was to win.
Yeah, I think they failed the last one. I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
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 So then Victoria, Caleb, and Hayden all came in 5th place with 5,000 each.
Yeah.
And Caleb walked off with a trip as well to, what was it, Bahamas? Something like that?
Yeah.
Which maybe he'll take Amber still. Who knows?
Amber, yeah. You know what? Did you realize that the ones who weren't in jury, it was Paula, Joey, Devin, and Brittany? Remember, they didn't really have a chance to say much what they thought of the gameplay for the rest of the season when they got to watch it from home. So they didn't do that this year.
Yeah, they didn't even show them.
They barely
Really?
showed them. It was almost like worthless for them to be there. I wish there was a little more time spent with them.
And and Joey's hair wasn't blue anymore. She changed it.
Yeah, she pinked it up.
Yeah, she did. I liked Joey, though. I thought she was very charismatic and colorful and creative.
Yeah, it was just took her too long to get settled into the house, and that's kind of the big problem.
And then she went too far to create an all-girls alliance.
Yeah, she pushed things too far, too hard. That's
Yeah, and then
something you kind of want to sneak in there. Like, get to know everybody first. You don't want to do this on the first week, go out guns blazing. Like, yeah, it worked for the bomb squad when they did that, but they already had kind of a relationship together. Like, they got to know each other. It's not like they just got into a group and go, let's do an alliance out of nowhere. It's like they got to know each other first.
Absolutely.
So
The one thing that those guys are most likely there for, not to be on the show because they were on maybe 5 seconds, was that the after show party they always have every year. They had where they all got to meet each other and meet their families and I was reading through a lot of the quotes they had, and one of the funniest ones was Pow Pow was like, "I got Cal Toro tattooed on my arm."
oh,
Wow.
no.
and she actually has it. They have a picture here of Jeff pointing to the tattoo
Oh
of
no.
Cal Toro tattooed on her arm.
Oh no.
It's like directly above her uh, elbow,
Oh,
so it's
gee.
like under the sleeve line even.
Oh no. That is awful. Why? Like, I mean, I
Oh,
guess I could kind of understand
and
it, but
then there's uh, Zach. He's holding the pink hat that he got in the jury room,
mm-hmm.
and he's wearing another pink hat.
Wow.
And he says to Jeff, Ariana Grande gave me this hat. This isn't Zanky anymore. It's Zariana.
Oh God.
That's awesome.
Wait a minute. Now he's hitting on Frankie's sister.
He's
Right.
not Caleb.
Caleb. Caleb took his shirt off, I think, during his interview. I think.
Caleb. Hayden and Caleb got together now. Caleb was pretty much hitting on anything that had a pulse.
Yeah, he was. Any hot girl that came his way, he would hit on him, basically.
So yeah.
The one there's two other quotes I want to read here. One was from Donnie, and he says there was a man in the bathroom about 40 years old, and he turned into a 12-year-old girl when he saw me and wanted to shake my hand. I told him,
Oh,
I told him, buddy, I need to wash my hands first.
oh,
Yeah.
Oh, priceless.
It's like during that party, some guy met him in the bathroom. I guess it was a family member or something, and and the other one was from Derek talking about his thing. He says, "This was a lot harder than any undercover job I've ever done. Not as dangerous as some, but criminals aren't as smart as some of these house guests."
Wow, that's a good quote. I like that.
Then the other was, if you ever watched the Q&A with Derek, I mean with Jeff after they get evicted,
Yeah.
then you know that Jeff handed every house guest a prize,
Yeah.
some random object or item. He just gave it to him. It's like, here, you can have this.
Yeah,
he gave Devin a bottle of crazy glue.
Wow.
Well, during the party, he walked up to Jeff and was like, here, you can have this back, man, and gave him the crazy glue back.
Oh wow.
Just stupid stuff like that. It's funny.
Yeah, that is hilarious.
And then Nicole and Hayden confirming that they are dating, and
Mhm.
Nicole is considering moving to Chicago.
California.
No, the quote is, "We kissed for 35 seconds." Hayden on kissing Nicole in the jury house. It was more like 15, but we are officially dating now. Thinking about moving to Chicago.
Oh,
By
okay.
Nicole.
Well, yeah, but then if she's thinking of moving in with him, then she'd be moving to California because he lives in California. She's from Michigan.
Yeah. I just know what she said.
Oh yeah, it's weird. I mean, you know what? It's odd. I mean, how would you make a big decision like that though if you have a showmance? How do you say, oh yeah, you know what? Let's do this. Let's move in after after we get out of here. Let's move in together.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think
Do
that's
it.
crazy. I don't know.
Sorry, got a lot of noise going on in the background here. So were you guys happy with Donnie being chosen as America's player?
Yes.
I've halfway expected it. I mean, I don't know. I guess it was better than some of the other people, but
No, I'm
Donnie is a good guy, and he needed the money because he had to quit his job to go there
Yeah.
because school work is contract work, and
Yeah.
if you're not available beginning of August, you don't get a job. So
Yep.
Yeah. So he's not a groundskeeper anymore.
no, not until he gets another job again.
I'm sure he'll be a groundskeeper at that school the following year. I think
Yeah,
they
he'll probably
probably
start back
just
again next year.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they just got somebody to fill in from this year.
Yeah.
So
Well, it would have been cool if Zach won, though. I mean, Zach was very energetic and entertaining, and I'll admit, the show did get boring after he left.
Who did she say the top 3 were in those votes?
Zach, Donnie,
And
Nicole.
Who? Nicole. Yeah, Nicole.
Yeah, and Donnie got more than half the votes. So.
Yeah, I know there was a lot of backlash. There was a lot of hate for Frankie because he was very self-centered and stuff toward the end, and a lot of that came out. But the fact that Ariana was tweeting out on her Twitter to promote people to vote for Frankie to be America's top player she's got a lot of followers. She's got a lot of push. People that never even watched the show, I'm sure, just voted for her because they're her fan and wanted, whatever. And then all of a sudden, a few hours before the voting went on, she switched her tune and told everybody to vote for Zach. So I don't know if Frankie was disqualified for America's Player or if something happened where Frankie didn't want to be America's Player. Like, I don't know. Like, I cannot come up with this. I don't know why she would switch tunes like that.
That's a mystery.
Frankie wasn't even listed in that. And I don't believe for one moment that Frankie would not have made the top 3 without Ariana's support behind her. Even if there was such backlash, I do not believe for one moment that Frankie would not have been in the top 3.
It's hard to say. I thought Frankie would be in the top 3 because he was entertaining. He was one of the most entertaining house guests. And you know what? You know how they have on Julie Chen's show, The Talk, the winner appears on the show, and so does sometimes the runner-up.
Yep.
But Frankie, it was only Frankie and Derek on The Talk.
Yeah. So,
yeah. I think that was because I think they kind of chose Frankie because, he's the sister of a pop star.
Yeah. I was very, very surprised. Do you guys think that something happened like that Frankie was disqualified? Like, does it surprise you that he wasn't in the top 3? Erika?
No. I mean, really, we're talking about popular vote, and like I brought up in the last episode, it's not really so much a thing like American Idol where you vote, you vote your time, and it's done. It was 20 votes a day for like 5 days.
Right.
So a hardcore fan would put in all 100 votes or whatever it was.
Yeah.
So
I just feel that Ariana tweeting it out like that she's got, I'm going to go look right now while I'm talking to see how many followers she has. But like with having that many followers, I think, I think she would have a significant amount of people. She's got 19 million followers.
Wow. So
just get her tweeting it out or whatever. Just if she tweets it out once every 2 days, let's say she doesn't even do it every day, that's 19 million votes a day that you could potentially get.
Yeah.
So it shocked me that Frankie's not in the top 3 because of that. That's not a small number. 19 million is not a small number. And you can't tell me that there's more than 19 million Big Brother fans that are watching. I don't think there are.
Mm-mm.
I don't think the show hit 19 million viewers this season.
No.
So, I'm not saying all 19 million voted for Frankie, but I think something happened there. That's my guess.
Well, what happens with these online votes? And this happens like it doesn't matter what the thing is, what the company or the vote is. If large numbers of what they call unconnected people start slamming one particular choice, then generally all those votes are thrown out because it's considered maybe somebody botted it. Right. If say Ariana Grande tweeted out, "Go to this website, vote for Frankie," people had never seen the show before, had no history or whatever, and they said, and not Fox, CBS looked at that, and they saw 30 million votes for Frankie. Well, Julie just said 10 million votes this year, more than they've ever had before. Well, now there's 30 million votes just for this one person. Obviously, there's foul play somewhere there. This can't be legitimate.
Yeah, I don't know if there's rules in place that they can't do that. Yeah, but that's why I'm saying I think Frankie was disqualified. So
that's probably what happened. Is the groundswell of unconnected non-viewer votes just got thrown out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's probably.
It's my
Yeah.
assumption. There was an article I read about Zach. I don't know if I could pull it up. But it pretty much was telling you. It said regardless of the vote, Zach is Big Brother 16's America's favorite, right? And it goes on to tell you how Zach was kind of he wanted to be the asshole of the season or whatever, and how he went into the house and had this really crazy emotional relationship with Frankie, which was kind of weird and kind of stole the show and all that. But then it said it wasn't just the showmance that caught America's attention, though. Zach had introduced himself to America as this season's villain, a Dr. Will Kirby wannabe who hated everyone. Hated everyone. He promised to be a complete jerk, a con man who would only care about himself, running all over his fellow housemates on the road to taking home the top prize. Preseason interviews left most viewers lining up to hate the smarmy frat boy, and Zach played up his I hate everyone shtick once Big Brother cameras were pointed at him. Despite this, it took no time for the viewers to have an epiphany. Zach was not a jerk at all. The most frequent comment through social media after the live feeds and the show came on was, "He's growing on me." The guy who wanted to be the villain, who hated the house guests, was actually pretty lovable. Unlike the rest of the house guests, he learned the names of everyone's friends and family members. He listened to people's life stories and asked questions, showing genuine interest. He developed feelings for people, not wanting to vote Brittany Martinez, a single mother of three, whom he liked and thought was a good person. He didn't want to throw a competition against Donnie Thompson, a 42-year-old North Carolina groundskeeper, because he liked him and thought he was a good person. See the pattern? In what was supposed to be a game for $500,000, Zach was developing relationships and feelings, something a CAD was not supposed to, or something, not really something a CAD was supposed to do. So it kind of went to show you how Zach became like this big topic to everybody. And it's true. Like Zach, you could tell he wanted to be the asshole. He was going there, I hate everyone. And at first, it rubbed Luke the wrong way. Luke's
Yeah.
like, I don't like that. But then when we pointed out and we're like, he's joking. And then as you saw that unfold a little bit more, and you saw the fact that he was joking every time he said, I hate everyone, with a smile on his face. He was laughing about it. Zach started growing on Luke too. Luke, by the end, by the time he was evicted, Luke didn't hate him anymore.
Yeah, because I could see that he had I don't know, he created like the signature phrase this year, Fruit Loop Dingus. I thought that was kind of funny, and I don't know, I just like his joking mannerisms. I just wish that he would get out of denial, and learn that it's okay to be gay or bisexual. I mean, he just looked ashamed about it. I'm like, Zach, there's nothing wrong with who you are. If you have feelings, especially for Frankie, don't be afraid to show it. Yeah. And you know what? I understand to flirt, if you're flirting your way through the game or something like that, that's one thing. But, when I was in the closet, I was doing the same thing that Zach was. I was in complete denial.
Even if the case, he may not be ready to come out, and you got to respect that too. So.
That's true. That's true. But then if you're exposing signs on live cameras and stuff like that, then that's obviously going to give America a hint, though.
Oh yeah.
But I think it's very low chance that he actually ends up being gay. I mean, he looks,
and that's all right.
From what I've seen, he's more of a compassionate person.
Yes,
he's more of somebody who cares about and who builds relationships with everybody. Not just, well, he's obviously gay because he does all this stuff with a gay man. It's like, no, he does that with everybody. Yeah.
Right. So a lot of the consensus, though, going around is that people would love to see Zach back in the house. Would you guys like to see Zach back in a Big Brother All-Stars?
I would. I would like to see him. As a matter of fact, I would like to see what happens in the future. Like him and Zanky should go back in for an All-Star season. That's what I think.
Not Frankie.
I think they should have a Big Brother
couples
season. Yeah. Let's say, for example, they should bring, even though they're not together anymore, they should bring Makranda back. They should bring Zanky back. They should bring Jordef back.
What they could do, instead of billing it as couples, they could bill it as power players and just two people that worked really well in the house together. And it could be a mixture of couples, mixture of I don't know, Dr. Will and who was the guy he teamed up with in season 2? I don't even remember.
Was it Bunky?
Yeah.
Bunky. It was
Yep.
Bunky.
Yep. Bunky. So they could possibly do something like that.
Yeah.
But that would be interesting. I'd like to see it. But I think next season would be too soon for Zach.
Yeah.
I think they'd have to wait one more season. But I could be wrong. I could be wrong because they might want to build off his popularity now and capitalize on that and get him back and capture all the viewers that loved and love to hate him at the same time from the season and carry them over into next season. That could be a possibility too. So
That would be something neat to look at.
My viewpoint on returning house guests, no matter who they are, is I only want to see returning house guests in a season full of returning house guests.
I agree. I would love to see
because
that.
we've had multiple seasons where it was the newbies versus the veterans.
Yep.
And the veterans always win because they know the game.
Or they're picked off quick because the newbies win things and get scared and just take them out instantly. It goes one way or the other. It's not like they sit in toward the middle. It's either they're gone at the start or they last to the end.
Right.
Exactly. And
I want to see. It's been what, season 8? I think was All Stars.
No, season 8 was
7.
Evil Dick's first season.
Yeah.
So 7, yeah.
Okay, it's been way too long since an All Stars season.
It's true.
We need another All Stars season.
Yep.
Yeah, so I think we're due for one in time. But you know who made it back into the All-Star season? This is a character, well, not a character, but a cast member that we hadn't mentioned and a past house guest. But he appeared, I think, in, like, that was his second season, Chicken George.
Oh, yeah.
You remember Chicken George?
I remember him.
Yeah, and then there was Mike Boogie. Now, I loved Mike Boogie.
Yeah.
Mike Boogie. Well, in his first season, you could tell he didn't age exactly. He looked the same, basically, when he came back for season 14. There was no aging in him.
Yeah, pretty much.
But it was kind of odd that he said that, because remember on season 14, he went back in as a coach, and he goes, "Daddy's home."
Crazy. It's crazy.
It is crazy. But other than that, though, I think Big Brother 16 was a very twisted season, like they said, and this was one of the best seasons because I love the twist that they come up with the game. And since they said this was going to be the most twisted season ever, it certainly was. And out of all that I've been through, like, just watching, with the jealousy and stuff like that, it's like you make a connection with the show as a viewer and as a super fan. That's what I love about Big Brother.
Yeah.
There's one thing while we're still doing the show I wanted to ask you guys. Ask your opinion, and it's a hypothetical situation for the U.S. show based on something Australia did.
Okay.
Let's say next season, season 17, everybody starts getting their alliances built up first day, first 2 days, whatever. They go through they have their HOH, power veto. They evict somebody. The second week, they do the same thing. The third week, they come out. Julie says on the live show, okay, there's not, talking to the TV, there's not going to be an HOH competition this week. We're bringing in last year's winner, Derek, and he is going to be the HOH this week.
Ooh.
He will move into the house. He will nominate the people he just spent the last, few days getting to know. He will nominate. They will play the power veto. If the power veto is used, he will re-nominate, and that is the bulk of the twist right there.
They would have to do that in a week where it couldn't possibly be a tiebreaker, though, because I wouldn't like to see him be the tiebreaker. I would like to see the house guests.
But just
alone.
in the early week, first, second or third week, be someone, the previous winner comes back and is the head of house.
I think that would be amazing.
Because
agreed,
they did that in a way in Australia. They brought back Tim, who is like one of the best Big Brother players ever, and brought him back. And his job was he was the head of house, and he was the one that he had the power, but his power was to pick the head of house for the next week.
Oh,
and I thought, so it's basically the same as, because they don't run head of household and all that stuff. But in the U.S. market, he would be the head of household,
right?
And he would do the nominations, and he would, I think that would be an awesome twist that they've never done before, and it would blow up the game in a good way. Because usually by that time it starts getting stale because they start into the same tread of everyone else.
Yeah, no, it'd be really good because you make a big move. I would not say do it on the first week. I'd say not even do it on the second week. Do it on like the third or fourth week when you kind of see that's when some of the alliances start shining and if there's two big alliances, that's usually when the big power struggle is, and whatever one comes out on top is usually the one that stays on top. And if you were to get somebody in a position that week that's an outsider and can make that decision, that could really completely change the game. I would love that.
I would like to see that too. I like to see a new twist each season, like the one Erika just mentioned. I would like to see that, how they would kind of shadow Australia's twist, you know?
Yeah.
That's one of the big reasons why I like watching these other countries, is because you see so much different gameplay.
Yeah.
You know, the US version is the same every year.
Right. So for those of you that are not currently, I know I have not been keeping up. Big Brother Australia is currently running. If you have the opportunity to catch that somehow, be it online or move to Australia, those are your two options.
That's a good idea.
Or you could be watching us from Australia right now. Who knows? But yeah, I definitely recommend checking it out. I unfortunately don't have the time to watch it, but from what Erika has filled me in on, and if you yourself would like to be filled on, check out our podcast from 2 weeks ago. It was 2 episodes ago, where Erika gave the kind of rundown of what happened within the first week and a half of Big Brother Australia, and it was really, really interesting. So make sure to go back and check that out if you haven't already. Do you guys have anything else you want to add before we wrap this up?
Well, I would like to say to both of you, even though, you know, Dom, you know, we're still friends, even after this podcast, we'll still keep in touch and stuff like that. And Erika, we're obviously Facebook friends. I really enjoyed getting to know you for this summer and getting to working with you. I enjoyed working with you as my first podcast. And as a super Big Brother fan, I felt really welcomed chatting with you guys, sharing my ideas and my thoughts on the show. I just wanted to thank you for a wonderful summer, guys.
Awesome, yeah. Definitely. Had a lot of fun doing this with both of you. I hope we'll be doing it again next year.
I hope we can do this podcast again next summer for season 17. And just for the record, so I didn't have to spoil it in the beginning, but for the record, for our finale podcast, by a vote of 7-2, congratulations, Derek. You are the winner of Big Brother 16.
Yeah.
Have confetti, but we have no confetti.
Correct. Erika, where can the people find you?
And it's on Twitter at ErikaRain7.
Yeah. But it's there somewhere. I don't know where. Your lower third ran away. Your lower third completely ran away. Hold on. Boom! There it is.
There we go.
Yeah. Woohoo! Hooray! Luke, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Zupa23.
Excellent.
You can also find me on this network here on the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. podcast.
Yes, Erika will be continuing on the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. podcast and filling in on some other ones here and there as needed. Luke.
And Doctor Who.
And Doctor Who, yes. Luke, you gotta start watching some shows that we do. Maybe we get you on another show.
I think that would be good. Just keep me updated and informed of what show you think I would find most interesting and stuff, and one that I can keep up with.
Yeah. If I think of anything, I will let you know. You can follow me down below at Phenomedom, PHENOMEDOM. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., there you go. You could also follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Gmail, G+, and right here on YouTube at /ASOTV Podcast for some more podcasts for some of your favorite TV shows, including Gotham, which just started this week, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 2, American Horror Story Freak Show is coming next week, Supernatural, Vampire Diaries, Originals. So many shows are coming back. You can also go on www.offergb.com/S, B, sign up for audible.com and receive a free 30-day trial and a free audiobook of your choice. That's it. By a vote of just me, because I am the head of household, I evict all of you. And good night.
From outside the Big Brother house, I'm Luke. We'll see you next summer.